Hey guys, so let's do new prediction for next week. Maybe for the next 2 weeks. You can see that I'm uploading weekly prediction last few weeks. Once 2 weeks, maybe once 3 weeks, because basically there is no change in my prediction. So if it still goes up, nothing much to say. So if you want me to upload every week, no matter what, please tell me or inform me that you like it. If you subscribe and like, and put in the comment that you want to, it will be very helpful. So as you can see, this is live. This is I'm not something I'm preparing up front. I'm just seeing what I'm seeing. I'm telling. So let's start with the SPY. It ended the red, and my last prediction was that it's still going to continue. And my final and my end position for the S&P is the 600 before we're gonna see maybe a bigger pullback. And so far it's meet the 550 and continue to the 565 and then made a pullback to the 550 again. And because it was red week, every red week we are basically seeing a lot of clickbait, a lot of YouTubers talking about red weeks and some deeper pullback, market collapse and stuff. Let's say this is kind of bullshit, just for a clickbait, and I'm not like this. So let's examine it. This is the weekly, so I will give you let's say taste of technical analysis. I'm using the stochastic RSI here and some other stuff, but this is the basic. I'm looking for divergence between the indicator and the price action. The price action, you can see, is moving up. Okay, there is some correction, but it's basically moving up. Okay, but what we see here, this is the overbought area, which means the buyers are interesting. This is the oversold. And what happened here, the buyers are interesting, moving up, moving up, moving up, and then a little bit sell off. And then the buyers again are interesting. But what happened here, this is a divergence, which means this is, it wasn't a straight line, sorry guys. You know what, just to prove it, this is the 93.84. This is 97. Of course, here it's much higher, 95, 95. So this is making lower high, but this is making higher high, which means only this. Yes, there is a divergence, which means that the indicator is not following the price action. But what this divergence means, that this first move for the upside is much stronger the momentum from the second move for the upside. This is it. It doesn't mean that we're gonna see a correction, a bigger one, collapse or something else. It just means that the second push for the upside was weaker than the first push or the previous push. All right, this is it. But what we're gonna do about this? Are we gonna see a correction which going to do something like this for the 200 maybe, or the 50 maybe? To try to predict it, we are looking at previous scenarios that can look the same. All right, so just looking at this graph, I'm looking something, let's say there is a lot more, but this is nice candle like this one, And we see overbought here, or some overbought and then getting off and then another overbought. So we could say this is something like this. But this overbought is much higher. All right. So it's not the same. This overbought is higher than the second one. So this is not the same, even though we can see the correction we will talk about later. So if we go for this one, all right, again, for these two candle, this one and that one, we can see something like this. But what we see here, this is making the low, making lower low, and here it's making higher low. So again, not the same, all right? But what we see here, this is making low, all right? And this is making something like this. You could say this is the same, but again, not again. So if we're looking about this one, and let's again move it a little bit back. All right. Let's hope I'm not wrong. This candle, we can see that this is making low, low, and again, this is something like this. What happened? Continue to be green. This is the move for the upside, all right? We didn't see any collapse. Red wick, which was much stronger than the previous wicks, and immediately got bought, and the bars got weak. So where is the stop loss? Maybe you can say by the price action here to see if it's gonna be red, but then we want to see something like this, but we didn't. We see the price action moving up and the indicator moving down. So this was the really taste of it. If you didn't understand, it's okay, because I didn't try to expand. So what we can see that the indicator will move down slowly, but the price action will try to hold it, even moving a little bit up, a little bit down, like a distribution or accumulation again, and then try to move for the 600. All right. So we have no indication of any big change yet. Just it was a red wick. And this is okay. All right, guys. So the trend is still up. It didn't break any key position. But let's say if we're gonna see something like this, a big red wick and a break of, let's say, structure here, because we see something like, let's say, this one and a break, maybe I will be afraid of them moving up and then continuation from a bigger pullback. But so far, nothing else to change my mind of still continuation, still a good sell that give me just a nice discount. If we go for the daily, let's see what we see in the daily. All right, in the daily, we can see how the red wick was created, and what we see here, you can see again divergence. This is what I'm looking at the weekly, but we're gonna see it on the daily. This is making already lower low, definitely, and this is making higher low. Doesn't mean it's finished yet. It's still continue, and then if it still continue, it can create lower low, which goes with the price action. And this action, price action, can give me like a bell of watch out of a bigger correction. All right, just a correction. So again, there is a divergence, but it didn't finish. So if we're gonna see now a green day, something like this, it can cross again, and this will mean a continuation for the upside. It doesn't mean that the continuation is going to be strong or breaking for the 580. Just mean continuation for the upside, and we're going to still follow it. What we're going to see it, this is low. This is the red day, like in the red wick, and then we see green, green, green. You can see it here. All right. See it here. This is moving low, try to spike up and then moving low. So we're gonna probably can see it on the weekly, something like this, moving for the high and the price action moving low, and then a bigger correction to bring more buyers to move for the upside. All right, guys. So far we are seeing a nice correction. Also, this was a nice correction. All right, guys. If we're gonna see it on the 4-hour chart, see how it looks on the 4-hour chart. Still positive. The blue is still blue. If it probably will try to touch the 4-hour chart 200, the 544, 543, and then bounce from it. So this is my short week prediction. I think it will hit it. Eventually it can try to bounce up, but it will eventually hit it. We see the momentum is weakening here. You can see this is high, this is lower high. So there is a weakening. You can see the divergence there for continuation. So this is, let's say, a line in the sand. If it's break the 200, close below, it could mean a bigger pullback for the 530. But so far, I'm gonna wait to see the bounce from the 540, 544 area. This area you can spike and then push for the upside. There's some divergences forming up. If we're looking at on the 1-hour chart, you can see on the 1-hour chart, I make it very small. You can see this is a trend up, this is correction, this is accumulation, this is continuation. You could say this is trying to break the trend, but when there is a break of trend, there is a retest. So I want to see it how it's gonna retest again at the 557, 58, let's say in a 560. And if we see the sellers coming back in, it could worries me. Okay, this is a nice correction on the 1-hour chart. This is a very short-term perspective. So if it's gonna come back, and do I think it will come back? We see it oversold. There is no sign yet. I can see it bouncing up and touching the 540. All right, eventually, but there is some strength coming back in. I could see it push a little bit lower and then trying to push to the upside again. Can it mean you're gonna be you wanna invest again? I don't know if you're gonna do it with big numbers or small numbers, but so far for the longer term, I don't see it yet. I don't see yet a big correction. Big correction above 10%. All right, guys. I see a small 2-3% correction. That's it. I can see the volume coming back in, but you can see this is the volume. What we see here, this is the candle, volume coming back in. You can see it here, tail. So buyers loading up, stocking up, and trying to hold the price. All right, guys. So again, for the daily, we are still above the moving averages. It's just trying to correct, give some breath before we try to move on for the 600. Nothing much yet. If I'm looking for the indicator, I don't see anything special. Kind of see want to move for the upside, and a key area for support at the 547.60, 548, which is touched already. So I could see it trying to move for the upside. Maybe I will look for a nice entry. I will look to see how it reacts to the 544 probably. If I'm gonna see it pushing above the 550, I will wait to give a strong indication of pushing above. Maybe see how it reacts to the 552 in the short term, guys, and reverse and then pushing for the upside, because if it will push it, there is a lot of resistance above 555, 50, maybe even 560 again. And in order to push for the 580, it needs to clear the 560, and it knows that. All right, you can see it here. Sellers coming in, buy come and sellers coming in. This is like a doji if you combine these two candles. All right, buyers coming in and immediately sell off. So there is a lot of selling at the 560, a little bit above. So in order to push above, it needs to bring more buyers, more new hands, that they already took some profit can even take a bigger pullback and not be afraid and buy a little bit more, and there is a lot of money in the market still, and then push for the upside. All right, it was a little bit long about the Qs, SPY, but it's gonna be the same with the Qs, guys. Okay, you're gonna see the Qs. Let's go for the weekly again. All right, you can see the doji, and then this is like a cloud combining, eating those 1, 2, let's say even 3 candle. It closed below, so this is a sign for reversal, which is okay. This is the Qs is more volatile, basically 1.5 from the S&P. If like the S&P is moving 1%, the Qs probably will move up 1.5%, something like this. Okay, so the Qs is more volatile than the S&P, and so gave a little bit bigger correction, and the same goes here. Even though you can see it here, this is 97, probably this is 9. Yeah, this is a weaker one, so it can push lower. 449. Let's see. The indicator gives us indication that it already breaks some trend and is entering a bearish trend. Not that good. If we go for the fall, you can see it here. You can see it changed for red. All right, the SPY didn't change. The SPY was blue. This is changed for the red one. So it gives bearish sign. But if we look at the past, you're gonna see it here, something like this. All right. So a bigger correction, but it's okay. You can see what happened here. This is a change. It's move slowly, preserve the price, and then continue up. All right. So you can do the same, preserving the price at the 470, 480, and then try to push up. At the moment, I'm a little bit, let's say, I will follow the Qs, all right? Because it's more volatile. It's following the big 7 stocks, which is about 30% of the S&P. This is why it's more volatile. At the moment, it seems that it can reach to the 455, all right? 455, this is about this area. And if we take the Fibonacci, let's say from here, 466, where it is, all right, it can touch the 460. And if it touch the 450, it won't be good, all right? And all the people know it. And if so, this will be entering a bearish market, and it can push the S&P for the bearish market. So what I'm suggesting now, I'm thinking for myself now when I'm looking at the Q, and this is live, guys, I didn't prepare. I will follow the Qs and see how it goes. If I'm gonna see a green, 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 and preserving accumulation, it could be just a good correction. But I see a change in the trend, and I don't like this one. This is a change in the trend. This is divergence for the downside. This is, all right, it broke already, and it broke already here. So this is a change in the trend. And a change in the trend is going to be a bearish market. For the bearish market could be shallow, guys. Doesn't have to be something like this. It could be bearish market, something, and then correction and move for the upside. It's okay. But I'm focusing more in the short side than the long side. And then I have to see how this S&P correlate with the Qs. All right. If we check the 1 hour chart, we saw the break like with the S&P. This is okay. The S&P broke this one. It didn't broke, but this one broke. So I'll probably look for a change. And looking at the 1 hour chart, you can see the divergence already here. Didn't finish yet. This is making lower low, the price making higher low. So if I see it breaking above the 50 and see maybe opening with a gap up, could mean a correction for the upside, and then see how the 490, 480, 485 486. How the sellers react, because if the seller is going to push it again, what we have confirmation of the trend for the downside. This is a trend up, this is a trend up, this is a break. All right, this is a break. So usually it come back, and if we see the sellers coming back in, we probably gonna see it moving for the downside. Where it's gonna end, 454, and this is the first trend stop for the bearish. At the moment, follow it, guys. Be more, let's say, I would suggest follow it daily if you are framing for a bigger correction. All right, guys. Let me check something in the smaller time frame. Maybe the 465 can be an area to hold, but I think it's gonna crash and break it for the 454, 455 area. This is it. Will it continue? I don't know. I didn't check it. Let's move for the IWM, which I missed. All right, I missed this move. The 210 was my key, and I missed it. You see what happened? It's break it, give a signal again to 205 for the break, and did this move. I missed it, guys. Fair enough. I give you the indication for the break for the preparation. I thought it will just hit to the 220, and it even pushed to the 225. Make the correction. This is a rotation of money, and this is what calms me, because Qs make correction, SPY make correction, but the IWM, the Russell, the small stocks, make them push for the upside, and this is a fairly correction of a big push. All right. So this is all right. If we look at it on the weekly, see how it goes. I know this is a big tail from the 220, but it's a break of trend, guys. You can see the 210, 200, and the 210. This is close above, so it's fair enough to make a correction and bring more buyers for move for the upside, which is good. This is a big volume. This is okay. If we look at it on the daily, you can see the correction. It did a break, immediately sell off. It's okay also. Big volume. This is 99.68. This is 96. This is 98. So no divergence. So nice, just profit taking, guys. If we check it on the 4-hour chart, it's resting. So moving above here, pushing for the next. And I think it will jump from the 215 to 1540, even 240. So be prepared. I don't think it will. I don't know. I can see it now breaking below the 214, because if so, it will probably try to touch again the 210. And also, this is a good one, because if it touches 210, it gives you a second chance, a third chance to re-enter for the push for the upside. And I'm surely gonna wait for it. So this is it. If we check it in on the 1-hour chart, the same goes. Okay, we saw it already. So let's try to move faster with Tesla and all the stock. Tesla, what it did, big move. We saw the big move. I saw it move into the 220 to where it was. Let me check. 220, and my next stop was 258, but I didn't predict it and didn't put in video, so you didn't saw it. It just was, and it hit them both and make the correction. This is, you can see the volatile, you can see the volume, and you can see the divergence, guys. You can see already the divergence. It didn't finish yet, so it can still push for the 220 to 30, and this is one is okay. There is a nice sign for continuation for the upside, and maybe try to retest the 256, 255, 90. And if so, I think it will push even higher. Yes, it's becoming volatile. It's okay. If you can see, Tesla compared to the market is basically the opposite direction. I think just because I'm following it on a daily basis. when there is a green day on Tesla, there is a, let's say, indecision day in the market, or even red day in the market. So I don't know why, but so far, this one Tesla, if we check the 4-hour chart, you can see it's still blue, so it's still bullish. This is accumulation. There is no divergence. Even so, there is divergence for the upside, so it just accumulate. I think it will, if it push above the 251, 250.50, it push even higher. So be prepared. If the market and try to push lower, I will follow it. So Tesla on a daily basis, of course, it's very volatile. Be prepared, be very careful with it. Let's see something in the 1-hour chart, nothing much. This is the correction. It failed to continue, it moved higher, but it failed. So probably above the 260 for the move for the upside, for investment maybe. This is Tesla, Apple. Let's see what it gives us. This is the daily of Apple. Basically move with the same move. If we check it on the weekly, you can see a nice cloud, which means correction for the downside. It's okay. If it falls to the 211, 210, just give you a nice discount. So far stay strong. You see it's still blue, it's still orange. Maybe a small change in divergence, but still I will probably look for a consolidation at the 220 for continuation. If it breaks below, I will look at it for the 210 again. I draw those lines, draw an indicator I wrote just to give you some lines for support and resistance, more for easy to look. I don't need to talk about it and draw it every time. Nvidia, the same. Let's look at it here. You can see this is a distribution, so maybe a bigger correction. You can see this is moving down. It's okay moving down. This is the correction here. So if it's break, might be the 30 here, maybe push and try to move for the 1-2. I think it will touch the 109. Let's see it here, closing the gap, 106 area. And this gives a little bit sign for the push for the 105, 106 area. You can see it oversold. The seller is very interesting. So if it can push for the upside, it can create divergence for continuation. It seems that it wants to continue down. Let's check it for the 4-hour chart. Changing the trend, you can see it here. Maybe it can push Apple also for a changing trend. We will check soon Meta. But you see the 200 here. Let's check. Let me check something here. This is broke. It didn't broke it here. So the 115, if it break close above, below, falling down 109, 106, it's okay. This is the 1-hour chart. Let's make it smaller. Moving up. This is a break. This is a retest. Maybe now the 115. Probably a lot of short sellers will wait for it. For the move for the upside, I don't see any sign yet. I want to see it close about the one, let's say, about the 122. Let's see how it reacts, and then trying to push higher. I don't see it yet. Meta. Again, the same one. We saw the move for the upside again. We saw the divergence, which was forming up. It didn't close yet the gap. It's dry. Not every gap can be closed. But you can see it here again. If it cross below the 450, let's say 5, and close below, it will break, and the divergence that is forming here, and then continue for the 430, and I could even say 400 again for the retest. And this will be a big distribution, not accumulation, big distribution, which is not that good sign. You can see it changing the trend. All right, guys. But it's still positive. This is just a correction. All right, this is a move up, correction, move up, and Alright guys, this is a correction. So it can still surprise you above the 503, 502, can push for the upside. There is no divergence, so it broke. But if it will push higher, it will meet a lot of sellers at the 511, 512, 520, and then it creates divergence for another push for the downside. Yes, this is my little girl. Love you! Alright. So this is Meta. Let's check on the 1 hour chart. You can see the change. You can see here nothing much, making a higher high. Nice volume coming here, so we know there is a buyer there. You can see it here. It almost did touch, so the buyers are trying to preserve their 460 price. If it's break below, it can continue lower. So far, it's in a downtrend. In a short term, of course, this is the 1 hour chart. This is a downtrend. You can see the divergence there. You can see it here. This is making higher high. This is making lower high. So continuation for the downside, guys. mRNA. My prediction was the 185, and it touched the 170. So sellers decided to come for the 170. It's okay. Sorry guys. This is what happens when you do live, when your kids decide to play. mRNA on the 4-hour chart, changing the trend, but you can see this is the preservation of the price action. So the buyer is holding, even in downtrend. So we've managed to break above the 132 and push to the upside. What we're seeing here, no divergence on the side, so I will wait a little bit because mRNA know that it's going to spike high or spike low. Be very careful with it. So far, be careful with it. I don't like it. I don't like it. On the 1 hour chart, and small time frame, sideways, sideways, sideways. So above one, maybe 28 for the push, or below, let's say here, 115 for the low. If we look at it on, this is the daily, you can see what it does. I thought it will stop there, but you can see this is what I don't like about mRNA. It can spike and then reserve here. So a lot of stop losses got hit here. You can see the red line here, so you can see the big volume, and then it holds there. And it holds the trend here. This is an old one. You can watch it on my old video. This is an old trend line I wrote. Usually don't delete. And you can see basically dancing with it. So let's see how it reacts. Even though the 50 is facing down, the 200 is straight. I don't like it. But so far there is a lot of divergences for the short side. So let's see if we're gonna see a break below the 516, 515.96 below this low. If you're gonna see it close, probably you can push another spike for the downside. BA sideways, nothing much to say. Sorry guys. Let's watch it on the weekly. You can see big sideways push, spike up, spike down. I don't know. If it make it smaller, we could see the bigger picture, move up. You'll see what happened on the 20. This is 21, this is 22. BA in a big problem. I don't know if you are in it or not. So 24 wasn't that good for BA. If you're looking for an entry, I will wait. If I'm watching for the 4-hour chart, it seems that it's holding, but I need a bigger confirmation for it to move for the upside. Because so far sideways, move up, move down, move up, move down, move up, move down, move up, move down. No big divergences I would like to comment on here yet. Let's see gold. Gold was interesting. It did its move. You know what? Let's close it here. You already see it. So see what happened with the gold, and this is what worries me, because the gold moved up while the SPY was moving up, and usually the gold, people say it like I don't know there because there is not a big correlate with the market. And so far the gold is holding while the SPY is moving down, the Qs is moving down. And people say that the gold reached the 300, 3000 because this is the ETF of the gold, GLD. So far gold is strong, guys, and there is divergence for continuation for the upside. We just need looking for a better entry. We didn't get it yet. You can see it here. I want to see it crossed above. I want to see it here crossed above. So far it seems that it wants to do a little bit bigger correction for the 200 to 18 maybe, and then see if bar is coming. Let's look at it on the 1 hour chart. This is it. It can do it. I think it wants to do a little bit bigger correction so far, but it can continue still higher. So follow it for maybe 2 weeks to see how it goes. So far, for the bigger trend is for the upside. For the short trend is for a little bit bigger correction, bring more buyers. All right. Silver. Same with gold. Did bigger move, bigger percentage, but seems like the same one. You can see more volatile there. Nothing much to say. This is the weekly. If we look at it on the daily, you can see don't mind the gap. I'm not on the gold and silver. Not looking at the gap to be closed. It can bounce from the 26. If it closes below, I will wait for it on the 200. But still look positive, guys. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So if it breaks the 26 is a bigger correction because you can see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say something. This is 3. If it's break, it's a bigger correction. And then I will look something like this. But again, it can still continue. It's okay because the silver did its move. And in order to do the second move, it need more buyers to trust in it. It's still blue. It didn't make a bigger correction. I could still see it trying to bounce from the 26, even though if it bounced from it, and I think it will try this week to push for the upside, but if it bounces, I will be watch very closely because the 26, even though it's a round number, nice resistance area, it's not that good for the silver. If you want to buy it, all right, guys. Oxy, if you're following the oil. All right, this is the daily. All right, I'm still waiting for the 53. We will look at it, and it's this is the trend up, this is the trend down, this is a bigger correction. The oil is very volatile, so be very careful with it. If you're watching the natural gas, it's much volatile than this. People call it the widow maker. So guys, please be very careful. You can see it here. It's tried to move for the upside, but it didn't have the power. But now the buyers wants to seem strong. If we look at it here, this is 92, 92, 92, 90. This is 90, 74 the high. This is, I don't know. Should be very careful. Maybe some sort of second pullback, small one, continuation for the upside. Even though it's find the support. If you look at it on the 4 chart, you see this is blue. It's positive. The trend is up. Trend is up. It's facing up. Facing up. See divergence for the upside. So now any push for the downside will bring more buyers. If you look at it on the 1 hour chart, you're probably gonna see it. Maybe second push and then bring more buyers and then push for the upside. You know what, Dixie didn't talk much about the dollar index. It's gonna take probably some time because I didn't load it. That's what it is. I didn't upload. No. Oh, that is here. It's the act, I think. Sorry guys. Yes, DX. Now it's loading. Alright, just a second guys. It's loading. You see the last time I put the trend. Alright. So this is, I didn't touch guys, you see it live. I don't know why it's, I don't know. This is something like this, should be, maybe it was the weekly. I don't know, something like this. See, this is maybe a break in the trend, but resting, divergence for the upside. So I think the DXY is still strong a little bit in the, was daily. If we look at it on the weekly, all right, see it broke it here. So it on the weekly it gives us a mixed signal that it wants to push a little bit lower again, bring more buyers. On the 4-hour chart, you can see it here, the divergence, but this one oversold. Divergence for the downside, so preparing for the short side. On the 1-hour chart, it's still loading. Let's put it on daily. Let's put it again on the 60. All right. So you see the change in the trend. This is the break. Maybe didn't manage to break here. So if it managed to break it here, the 104, it can push higher, but then more sellers will come in here. But so far, I'm about the short side. So guys, let's sum it up. So this was a very interesting. Are we gonna see a bigger correction? Bigger correction is above the 10%. I don't think so. If so, it's gonna be a good one. 5%, 3%, it's gonna be a good one. So far, the trend is up. It's moving on the weekly for the upside. There is some rotation from the bigger stock to the smaller stock because there is a lot of money there, and they need to diversify their portfolios. They cannot put all the money in Nvidia, Meta, Apple, and stuff. And this one is a good one. I could see a move for the downside because the Qs is more volatile. We follow the Qs, but I think it's gonna bounce very soon. This is the reason why I will follow it, see how it reacts to the key area I was talking about at the beginning of this video, and then see how the SPY gonna react to it. I will follow the gold, the dollar, and Qs and SPY, and to see how they react to each other to give indication the markets want to continue and make a bigger move for the downside. I'm more pessimistic for this week for the continuation for the downside, but I'm just for this week because I'm looking where the buyers are, and there are various indications that the buyers are looking with every move for the downside to bring more buyers. And so far, if they fail, and then we're gonna see the sellers entering position, not with just like those candles. And this one, this correction, this is a good correction, guys. All right, guys, this is a good correction. And this one is half from it. This is like something like this. So even if we see a 525 in this SPY, it's a good one. So you have the levels, you have my prediction. This is my thought, my online thought. I wasn't prepared for it. Please do your own due diligence. Don't make a decision by my prediction. Just even try to contradict it. And hope it was helpful just to hear thought of a guy who's trading and investing in the market. And if so, please subscribe, like, comment, and follow. Guys, thank you guys. Hope you like it. Bye bye.